Alrighty, hello. It's been a little bit and I'm back. Sort of. I've still got lots to do work-wise, but it's really crap weather outside, so we're in the shed. Some parts have arrived for this thing. Been sitting here for a little bit. So it's time to put them on. Now, for the past few months I haven't been uploading, still been people commenting and that sort of stuff, which doesn't worry me. A lot of people seem to like the drama, and that's where the views come from, which, yeah, whatever. The last video I did on this, where I said the experts got things wrong, people said, oh, you're a Toyota fanboy. I'm the furthest away from it being a Toyota fanboy you can see. So if you're one of those people that only buys, one make of thing, say, such as a Toyota, but then you go back to the dealer for all your servicing, your tire changes, any little issue, rather than getting better stuff for your car, this video is not for you at all. So just piss off. A lot of people get upset with like, oh, the manufacturer would have made the car and they know what they're doing and it can't be improved on. Well, that's false. The manufacturer makes a car to a price point and to maximize profits while still being safe and ticking all the rules and regulations for everywhere around the world. So that's what they do. In saying that, I have had a few issues with this car. They're going to come up in later videos. The reason why I haven't posted them yet is because I'm still waiting on a few responses to see if they're going to actually, not so much fix it, the issue's fixed, but give a reasoning as to why things have happened. So I've had things break on this, I've had things fall off on this, I've had a multitude of things, and all I can say at the moment is Toyota Japan, really good. Toyota Australia, absolutely sucks. Like, they have been the worst. So I don't get this service by Toyota, like, yeah, they can get stuffed, essentially. But what we're going to do today is we're going to put some new wheels and tyres on the car. Now, you don't see any wheels and tyres here at the moment because I still need to do one more thing, and that is new suspension. So, oh, bloody hell, it's upside down, but you get the idea. This is from a company in Brisbane called JMACX. Full custom suspension, 3-inch lift. If you don't know how big 3 inches is, just go ask your girlfriend and she'll probably say it's less than that. Anyway, enough of that. Before we do that, we also have to do upper control arms. These are Black Hawk upper control arms. Has all the offset already done, so when we get this sorted for a wheel alignment, there's no issues because it's all back to standard wheel alignment. You don't have to do any custom stuff regarding that. So all these fun things. Wheels and tyres I have in the other shed. Might even do a different video on that, because this in Australia is the altitude model. This has 18-inch rims, but are they 18? If you actually have a look at the rim, the outside might be 18, but the inside isn't 18 because they just clear the calipers. Like, you wouldn't even be able to get a pencil in between the calipers and the wheel, but yet 17 still fit. Yeah, interesting, but we'll go through that later on anyway. But what I'm going to do now is the reasoning why I need not so much the lift, I want the lift, but the new suspension. Let's put this down because that's not the lightest thing in the world. I've got a few things on this car which people go, you need, you don't need, whatever. It's what I wanted. Everything's working great so far, being the full drawer system in the back, the fridge, which I always keep generally full. The roof rack, which that's not that heavy, that's only around 20 kilos. And then on the top, I'll only have like a double swag or something anyway. I'm not going to put too much weight up there. The side steps weigh a bit, the bull bar weighs a bit, and that still has a winch to go in, which is over there. The winch weighs about 30 kilos, it's not super heavy. But in saying that, and the snorkel, but that's really light, it's alloy. In saying that, with the factory suspension, it's compressed enough now and it's settled in that when you're driving along, it feels like you're sort of sitting on a waterbed. I've taken this off-road heaps of times now, up in the high country. It bottoms out a lot. The bump stops constantly hit. So the weight-wise, it's past its usable limit, essentially, without rebounding and doing a good job. Even just on the highway, you get a slight little breeze, and the car, it sort of feels like the car's doing, the bit of the octopus wave. So by changing the suspension, just want to firm it up a little bit, and the bonus of making things a bit bigger. Let's get to it. I'm just going to do a couple of measurements, just basic ones, off this front point of the side step down, and the lowest point being the factory bash plate. I haven't got aftermarket bash plate on there yet because the one I want to get, they're still saying that it may or may not fit with the ARB bull bar. And yeah, I don't really want to order that until that's sorted out. The rear bar, I did have a rear bar. It arrived after pushing 5 months. I've got another video to release on that, but I sent it back. That was from the cruiser company. I'll explain why in the video, but essentially their customer service and the quality of it is not up to scratch, so it's gone. Another one's on order, but that one's not going to be here till probably end of January, and it's October now. So yeah, fun. And I want to do a trip up north January, so I won't have that for the trip. I'll have to work out what to do spare wheel wise, because I can't take a spare with me. But I've got this new stuff now that can slap on a sidewall and fix all stake tires and that sort of stuff, at least enough to get you to a repair shop. So I might have to get something like that for that trip. Yeah, all right, let's get a tape measure and get underneath this thing. Okay, all these measurements are going to be in millimeters because that's how everything should be. Now, to try and get this semi-accurate, let's have a look. What do we got? So 280. So 280 millimeters to there, off the bottom of the side step, which isn't a lot really. Like, that's been scraped to buggery. That's going to come off very soon. Now let's get underneath the front and have a look. I was trying to keep the garage door shut, mainly because there's a bird that keeps flying in and out, but it's too dark. All right, so if we go off the back there, so just before the lower control arm, it's only a rough measurement. We're not going, you know, millimeter to millimeter. So 225. Hang on, if we go, yeah, 230 actually. 230. So you've only got 23 centimeters. It's not really a lot for four-wheel drive, really. And I knew that from day one when I bought the car, and this was always the plan. So yeah, fun. Next step, jack it up, take that wheel off, and let's have a look. Okay, wheel is off. Now, I need to undo. Go and do the sway bar. It's a 22 mil on this, which is weird because it's a 19 mil on the 300 series, and all the instructions are for a 300 series because suspension's similar. So 12 mil, take that one off. You know, that light shine on me, I can't see, but take the ABS brake, say the brake line off as well. Which is that one. That'll give us a bit more flex when we droop it down. I don't know if there's going to be a bracket relocation kit for that, or I still reckon I need longer brake lines, but they reckon you don't. Not fully convinced on that one yet. If you're doing a GVM upgrade, this is where it says to replace the upper control arm. I'm replacing it anyway. I don't really give a stuff about what is a GVM kit or anything like that. Yeah, we've got to get that 12 mil bolt out, but that's in the way, so fun days. Let's go get a spanner. Can't get away with power tools all the time. Sometimes you got to do it old school. So that's just a sensor. I've got to take that bracket off. I've got to take that one off to give me a bit more flexibility. Actually, I don't need to. I need to take the split pin out, knock that off, take that bolt out, upper control arm off, and then the top hat and all that will come off. So let's pop the bonnet and see what we have to move out of the way to get that big bolt out. Okay, so just in front of the shock tower, there's a little plastic cover, a couple of little pins that you just click inwards, like a little pick. Clip in, and then pull out. And that gives you access to the front bolt on the upper control arm. I've already sprayed it with WD-40, doesn't hurt. You got to lube stuff up if it's the first time or your last time, so just give it a go. So this is all looking pretty good at the moment. Especially on the inside here, the only thing you might have to push out of the way is there's like a little rubberized hose here. Oh, it is a rubber hose, I suppose. Yeah, this should be easy. So you don't have to climb over the top of the engine bay to get to this. Should be 22 mil off the top of my head, but we're about to find out. Okay, we don't want to take this one off fully just yet. Just want to loosen it. So let's have a go. It's going to be a bit hard to see, but I need room. Same deal. Take this off. And it's off. Let's do this the easy way. As long as that fits on there like that. Yep. There we go. Now I don't want to take that bolt out just yet. So I'll take this split pin and this nut off the upper control arm first. But apart from that, that is good to go. Keep everything together, all nice. This must be some sort of new type split pin. You've got to push it from the back and you pull that out. And then it should be able to come out from that. There we go. Nothing. I've never actually seen one like that before. Anyway, that's easy. That should be a 19 mil, which of course, where's my spanner gone? Yes, it is. I just like seeing how tight they make things first before you start putting, there we go, it's nice and easy. Putting impacts and that sort of thing on there. Now, I'm not going to take that all the way off. A lot of people think that you need to hit there. That's wrong. That's what that's for, you hit there. So, sometimes you just need a little bit of leverage against the top there. There we go, pop. And we can take that nut all the way off now. Sit that down. Upper control arm is out. Now you have to be careful of this. You don't want to stretch any cables. That's okay at the moment. This big bolt can come out. And that's where you need to get up into the bonnet and find out which hose it's hitting now. There we go. And that is the upper control arm, L1 out. You see, it's just folded, nothing special about it. Can't grease those joints, it's just packed and that's it. All right, that one's done and dusted. Okay, so OEM upper control arm is done. It's never going to see the light of day again. Just put the jack underneath the lower control arm, no weight on it or anything, because we're now going to take this strut out. I think it's 4 12 mils on top, off the top of my head, and one 22. Is it 22? Soon find out. Yep, 22 off the bottom. So all we're going to do, I'll take the bottom one off first. just to break that loose. Then we'll do the top. Loosen them all first, leave one still on there a little bit, just makes it easier and doesn't fall out all the way. So let's get that done. There we go. Suspension is out. Now I need to find which side's the left side. Need to open up the packets. And the bump stops. I'll just check. Oh, you can see where the mark is on the bump stop. This thing has bottomed out a lot. I'll bring you in for a closer look on that bad boy. Check that out. That bump stop. It's copped a hiding. Pretty sure this thing only comes with bigger bump stops for the back for this kit. But I'll go check it and we'll have a look. Alrighty, let's just like compare the two here. Much beefier this new one is compared to the old one. It's pretty crazy. And also at the top here, it's got a swivel head. What I mean by that is, I'll just adjust the camera. So this is fixed in the strut tower. This actually can move a little bit depending on what you want to do. And to get the adjustment right, this will go up into the wheel well like so. Just move that up like that. Even the base section. So make sure I've got this on camera. Yep. So we're looking at, what's that? 32 mil there compared to 21 mil. So it's a lot beefier. Not going to bore you too much with it, but we're going to put that in there. Then put the upper control arm in, and then we have this bracket which mounts here for the remote reservoir, but I need to drill those three out, paint them up. That's a tomorrow job. But today we'll get the strut in and upper control arm done on both sides. And tomorrow we'll come back and do that bit there. Alrighty, it's the next day. We got tied up doing a couple other things, but the shock is in. Just need to mount the remote part now, which goes in there somehow. But to do that, these three holes here have to be drilled out. So you can mount the bracket like so, which is cool. And this is just comes off and it's all shiny stainless steel underneath. But yeah, so you got to put riv nuts or nut certs, whatever you want to call them, in there. And they just don't quite fit. So need to drill them out, paint them up so they don't rust, and then put that in there. Let's do that now. Okay, so that's the nut certs in. If you don't have a attachment for your drill to put the nut certs or riv nuts in, and you've got a hand one, get one of these ones. They are awesome compared to a hand one. Just grab it and in we go, grab it again, undo it, unscrew it, done. Just fits a lot tighter. Now, you need to mount this bracket, put that up on there, work out how that goes. This is the fun bit. Get behind there. There we go. I'll sit there like that. And the bracket goes like that, and I've got to put hose clamps over the top. Hose clamps hold that there. Down the bottom. Yeah, fun. Take this plastic off and do that. So that is the passenger side completely done, except for the bolt that goes in the sway bar. Once I do the other side and get it back on the ground, I'll put that back in, and then tighten everything up properly. But while we're here, there's 30 increments of adjustment on these. So I'm going to set these at 15 just to start off with and see how we go. So crank it all the way one way. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Done. So once the wheel's on, you can access it over the top. No big deal. I'm not going to put that cover on just yet because I still need to tighten that bolt up once it's on the ground. But yeah, all right, I'm not going to bore you with the other side, but this side is done. Alrighty, so that is the front's done. As you can see, it is a little bit higher in the front. Yeah, so it's actually really good to get underneath the car now, and I know it's going to come down a little bit once the back's done, but the ground clearance at the front is a lot better. Now this is running the 265/70 18s, so these are the stock tyres and wheels that came with the car. I do have some others to fit, but when I'm doing some highway travel, I might even just leave these on just to wear them out, because it's not too bad. Like you can see, it's got a lift in it, but it's not overly stupid looking with the gap, especially once the rears will be done. But yeah, now it's time to jack up the rear and do the same there. A little bit different. So a solid axle rear, got trailing arms to do. You got to get all the trailing arms correct, same spacings on both sides, so the wheel sits even. And then the rest of it gets done wheel alignment, so not too worried about all that. I did the driver's side second, I did the passenger side first. I followed the instructions for the passenger side, and then I did the driver's side the way I've always done it, and yeah, go with my way, which is do the upper control arm first completely, and then do the strut tower. The book says to remove both at the same time, but what happens is the whole arm drops down and your CV binds up, so you've got to actually rotate the wheel to get in the right spot and then push it up. It's just an absolute nightmare. So do the upper control arm first, just don't touch anything else, and then once that's done, then drop the shock tower out. Makes life so much easier. Like it took me probably 40 minutes to do this front one yesterday, probably 15, 20 to do the other side. A lot easier. One of the first things you want to do before you even worry about jacking it up is get rid of the spare. Oh, it's filthy. All right, there we go. So, see, have been four-wheel driving. There we go. Give that a wash. Okay, now we jack it up, put it on some stands and take both sides off. Close that bad boy. So, you know how to do that. All right, time to do the rear. So springs, trailing arms, adjustable panhard rod, sway bar links, a little bracket for the rear brake line because it's got a drop in it, bump stop spacers, and rear shocks. So just put a little couple of blocks at the back just to help support it, as I don't really have any jack stands that are that big for the rear of the car, so it's all good. All I'm going to be doing, not really getting under it as such, so it'll be fine. So I have to go out, so I'm just going to do a couple of things now. So I'm going to drop the bump stops and the sway bar and the trailing arm and that rear shock. So I'll do that before I have to go anywhere. Get a start on some things. And I've still got the jack underneath the diff, so I can lower it down, then the spring should pop out and be able to put the new one in. Easy enough. Alrighty, that is everything in. Couple of little things. that's everything in now. I just set everything up with all the bars back to the original specs. So the same as the ones I took off, and that'll get adjusted later on. The springs, I'd use a spring compressor to get in because I didn't have enough height. If you're using a hoist or something like that, you're not going to have any problems there at all. But I ran out of room on the floor, so that was an issue. If you're going to use some sort of stands or whatever, make sure they're at least probably 750, 800 mil, because these are about 650, I think they were, and it's not quite enough. I had these pretty much touching the ground, even when the spring compressor's on. A couple of little things in the kit here that I'm not a big fan of, like the spacer block for the bump stops. It just looks a bit pokey, not a big fan of it. Just put a big bump stop block there. So I wouldn't have minded just an aluminium block with a bit of rubber on the bottom. That would have been fine, but they've come up with this bracket to hold the side in, and then the original bolt hole is just sort of hanging there behind. You're not going to see it, but it just looks a bit dicky for what it is. And also there's a bracket to lower, actually to lift up the brake lines. All the instructions for this are for the 300 series Land Cruiser. I believe that's the difference between the 300 and the 250 on this. The 250 has hard brake lines all the way to the diff, and then there's like a little extension for the soft lines. That's the part supposed to extend. It doesn't work that well, so I've had to order longer brake lines for the diff section for the rear. Apart from that, it's all made up nice. I'm just going to put the wheels on now before I sort the rest out tomorrow morning. That is done. It's a little bit higher in the rear at the moment because it's set up with the weight of the rear bar that's supposed to go on there, so that'll settle a little bit. This is still with the OEM tyres and wheels, so got to fix that up and change them over. Once I get the wheel alignment, I'm just going to take it in like this. So how much more clearance do we have with stock wheels? Just on the side bar like we did the first time. What's that looking at? You can just get it straight. 390. So, can't remember what it was originally, but I'll pop it up on the screen now. And that's the difference. Now, the front bash plate. So the front bash plate was the lowest point. 335. I think that's at least 100 mil off the top of my head. So there we go. And then let's go get a wheel alignment. Alrighty, so there we have the Prado lifted 3 inches. Still a little bit of settling to do in the back, but once I get the rear bar on there as well with the spare tyre on, it's going to balance it out a bit. But even with the stock wheels and tyres, it doesn't look ridiculous. It's not like the 3-inch lift on the Jimny with the stock tyres. It just looks crazy. So I'll use these for like highway run around, that sort of thing. And then when I go on some big trips, I'm going to put some other wheels on, which with the magic of editing, we can do this. Bam, there we go. Lifted and bigger tyres and actually smaller wheels. So these are 315/70/17. So I've gone down the rim size, gone up a little bit in tyre size, which I'll talk about in the next video. But from here, she's looking pretty good. Black and black and black, more black. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the wheels in the next video and why I went with that size and why I went with those tyres. Now I need to get a bash plate and get around to putting the winch in. That's down the track. We'll start with this. Okay, so one thing I forgot to do, which is probably important, it's more so if you're really into going through drive-throughs or underground car parks. I live in the country, so there's not really much of that going on. Except we do have, there's a couple of drive-through coffee shops, but if you're too lazy to freaking get out of your car and go inside and get a coffee, then freaking hell, get up a bit earlier. Now, the rear of the car is generally the highest, but in saying that, on top of this roof rack on the other side, I've got a couple of eyelets. So I know the eyelets are as thick as this bit of, I wouldn't say it's 2x4, it's what, 45 by probably 75 mil. So easiest thing to do, sit that on top of your roof rack and measure to the top of it, which just sticks out without falling off, without clamping it down. Just vertical with the guard there. So get yourself a ladder, like so. Drop your tape measure down. I haven't done the heights with the tyres on yet. That's going to come in the tyre video. But we're looking at 2 meters 60, so 2060. So we're looking at, yep, exactly 2060. Now it probably goes without saying, when you measure this, make sure your tyres are at like highway pressure. You don't have a lot of crap in your car. So pretty much your day-to-day running of the car, minus probably all your crap, then measure the height. Then, take that off there before I forget about it. The most important part, because no one's ever going to remember, get yourself a dymo maker. Then right, if I can work out how to put shift on this, 2060 millimeters. Print that off. No. There you go, 2060 millimeters. And stick it up on your windscreen, right next to your service sticker. And that's your height for your car, done. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that in.